As a punishment for playing tricks on James, Thomas was forced to pull freight cars. But Jackson, the new engine, thought Thomas was being very silly. Thomas didn't know Jackson yet, so he puffed angrily past. Jackson was cross. "Thomas," he said, "why were you not talking to me?" So Jackson knew he had to fetch some coaches. Once Jackson returned to Tidmouth Sheds, he told the other engines what had happened. "Thomas gave me Isabel yesterday," snorted James. "And I told Thomas not to tell the other engines to steal my coach," said Oliver. "Stealing?" said Jackson. "I never heard of that." "Oh," said Gordon, "it's disgraceful." "Disgusting," said James. "Despicable," finished Henry. "Jackson, I just noticed that you weren't talking to Thomas," said Oliver. "Well, of course not," said Jackson. "I wasn't paying attention last week." "Of course you weren't," said Gordon. "Thomas is encouraged to help you out tomorrow." "I know," said Jackson. "I don't know Thomas yet." James and Henry criticized Jackson, and Jackson went happily to sleep. The next day, Thomas went into the shunting yard. "So you're Thomas," said Jackson. "Henry rescued me from the mainland last week." "He did," said Thomas. "I don't know you yet." "Well, I'm starting to know you now," said Jackson furiously. "I don't understand," Thomas fumed. "You're that yellow engine, like other engines like Bill and Ben or Molly." "Is there any more?" asked Jackson. "Do you know any other yellow engines?" "Yeah, smaller engines on the narrow gauge railway. Duncan is yellow," said Thomas. "I have a train to pull right now. Can't talk right now, Jackson." Jackson was cross. "Don't interrupt my conversation, Thomas," he said. Thomas didn't trust Jackson at all, so he puffed away. A little bit later, Thomas had collected some freight cars that he mistakenly left behind. Thomas wasn't paying attention when he heard a train approaching. Thomas could see that Ben was on the same line. "Oh!" cried Thomas. "I'm going to crash." So both engines applied their brakes, and Thomas and Ben stopped, just in time. Ben was cross. "What are you doing in my way, Thomas?" shouted Ben. "I couldn't stop," said Thomas. "I wasn't paying attention." "Move on to the other line, Thomas," said Ben. "You could have crashed into me." "All right," Thomas said sadly. So Thomas had just finished shunting into place, and soon Ben's line was clear and he puffed away. "Thank you, Thomas," whistled Ben. He was feeling pleased of himself. So Thomas had parked his freight cars into place near the shed. Jackson saw everything. "So you're shunting, aren't you, Thomas?" asked Jackson. "Yes, I am," Thomas said exhaustedly. Thomas reversed and apologized. I'm sorry I was rude to you, Jackson, apologized Thomas. It wasn't your fault, Thomas, whistled Jackson. I sometimes cause accidents. Remember last week I crashed into a tar wagon and I knocked one of the coaches off the rails? Well, I wasn't in time to see all this, said Thomas. So, Thomas, asked Jackson, can we be friends forever? Sure, whistled Thomas. Why wouldn't we? Thomas and Jackson felt very pleased. They know that the best way to help each other out was to pay attention.